Hey everyone, welcome back to Bag Only, the ultimate Iron Man with no extra storage and all that stuff. If you remember in the last episode, we finished our 75 Slayer grind and we did a bunch of quests. So in this one, what we're going to do is just knock out a couple more quests, just to get to a nice place. Then we're going to do our crafting, going to empty our inventory out a little bit, do some super glass making, and then finally do our big Entrana reset, get rid of our combat gear, and do a bunch of quests and activities on Entrana, do a few rune crafting diary tasks, a couple of other miscellaneous minigames and stuff that require us to have no inventory items on us, and then we're going to finally do a proper full rebuild after that, get some real gear, and then work towards those Grandmaster quest bosses. So that's the plan today. Going to start off with Cold War first of all, just because it's got such low requirements and we somehow haven't done it yet. Just need to grab ourselves some things like some silk and some feathers and some tar to make the outfit, as well as a couple of random other planks and leather to make some other items during the quest. So here we are with Larry on the iceberg. So what we need to do is talk to Larry, and we need to watch a cutscene where we spy on some penguins and we pay attention to the emotes that they do. But I guess the good thing is, if RuneLite doesn't record those, then I'll just watch this clip back and I'll just be able to see what they are. Right guys, we're back at Larry at the RD Zoo, and as far as I'm aware, we have every quest item we need for the entire rest of this quest. And then we enter our little penguin suit here. So moment of truth, let's see if Quest Helper tells us what emotes to click. I think it does. I seem to remember doing this at some stage, and the emotes were lit up blue, so yeah. That's lovely, don't have to think about that for the rest of the quest. So we talked to Larry about what we've just learned, and then we're able to nip to Lumbridge and do this same thing where we infiltrate the penguins there. So that's that, let's get out of our penguin suit again. It's not the longest quest when you have all the items together, it just takes a little while to get all these things, you know, go chopping all the different logs for the different planks we need and getting leather tanned and picking up swamp tar and feathers from all over the place. At the end of this we do get 1,500 construction, which is literally nothing. We get 5k agility, which, you know, can't say no to since we're only 34k offer level. And we also get ourselves 2k crafting, which again is almost nothing. So we've retrieved our penguin intelligence from the Lumbridge agents, so we go back inside here, speak to the head guy in the RD outpost of penguins. Now we go back to Lumbridge once again, go back to our penguin suit over there. Then once we're over there, we talk to the penguin again. And here we are back on the penguin iceberg. So we need to get inside our penguin disguise once again with Larry. And then we need to go speak to the KGP agent outside the front door who will not allow us in. So we need to speak to a penguin called Noodle outside to try and get us a fake ID card. And then we use this ID card to get inside. What we need to do is do our penguin initiation so they think we're truly one of them. So we need to do the penguin training, we need to talk to the leaders, and then we need to do a lap of the agility course, which is where they train their penguin soldiers. Obviously after the quest you can come back here with a penguin suit, sneak back in and do this agility course for XP and pet chance if you so desire, but I don't think we'll be doing that. Our agility is kind of on hold until we've done Sins of the Father. We want to do the Sepulchre for the rest of our agility training, because it is just so good XP an hour. That hill there is a real pain if your agility is a lot lower. You can just repeatedly fall down all the way, and it really sucks. But obviously our agility is good. If you're planning to do Questcape, just get yourself a nice agility level first. Get like at least 70, and it just makes the game so much easier, honestly. So we tell them about the penguin army that we've seen inside, and then when we're outside we'll just use this time to craft our bongos. And then we can once again enter the tuxedo time. With our bongos and our cowbell we can go back in and give them to the musical penguins to gain their trust. Then once these guys are busy playing these instruments, making a bunch of noise and causing a distraction, we'll be able to open the control room door and sneak our way inside without any of the penguin soldiers seeing us. So inside we once again get a cutscene where the penguins find us and we're knocked out of our penguin suit. And then what we do is we just have to fight off a couple of these ice fiends. So with that guy dead now we can leave through the door. Anyway, in this cutscene you see that they're actually building a giant mechanical penguin that they're going to use to go to war with us. But that never happens because the quest series ends here, so that's another one down, that's one quest point, so we now have 49 more quest points left. Not too many individual quest lines actually left for us. We do have a bunch of mini quests, but we're not necessarily doing every mini quest, just because we're just here to get our Questcape primarily, and those are kind of optional. So yeah, that was Cold War, another quest complete. And so it was finally time to blow some glass on the account with Super Glass Make, which should be a lot faster than using the furnace method we did for our initial bit of crafting all those episodes ago. So what I did is I just went to some unpopulated charter area. I think I used mostly harmless docks for this. Grabbed some astral runes from the Luna shop. They're only 50 GP each, but you do need 2 per cast, so it does end up costing a little bit of gold, but really not too much because you don't really lose any on the actual sand and seaweed purchases themselves. So initially I tried this with just the invent space that we had, doing 5 and 5 and blowing 5 to 8 glass at once and then selling it back. We were getting something like 50k an hour, but you're supposed to be able to get about 70k an hour if you do this at peak efficiency with the most invent space available possible. I just really wish that there was better glass items between level 47 and 83. I've said it before, I think I said it last time we were making glass, but it's just so stupid. So I decided to just send it and actually go get rid of all our combat gear. So I went to the High Alchemy shop in Burthorpe Rogue's Den and sold all the things I could, and then just high alched the last 2 staffs that we couldn't sell. Now a lot of this stuff we can very easily get back. The Luna staff's buyable, the Iben staff's buyable, and then we just need a basic mage weapon to get our rune crossbow back now. The Dragon Scimitar's kind of difficult because we will have to remake all the monkey stuff like the Gree and the Talisman to go buy this back. However, we'll probably have to do that anyway during Monkey Madness 2 when we get there, so we'll just get the D-skin back then. It's not really a big deal. The D-hide shield we can't, but tough. We're going to level our crafting, so we'll be able to make some very basic dragon hide shields for some range bonus, and then later down the line hopefully we'll get something like the Armadillo book that's reclaimable. I think I worked it out that if we free up all these extra 6 invent spaces and we're able to do the full efficient 10 and 10 glass making method, then it would save us something like 2 or 3 hours if we were to go all the way to 75 here. So I'm going to keep all the most important stuff on me. The Ring of the Elements, obviously. I'm going to keep the Ring of Wealth switch because we're going to in theory use that to get more key halves for more dragon stones. So yeah. All our weaponry's gone. Now, initially here, I just planned to get the 70 for Monkey Madness 2, just so we can start it, so we have access to the first part of the quest that requires us to go to Entrana. Just before we do our reset, then we can do all the Entrana things at once, obviously. Guys, the shift-click buy and sells come back to haunt me, and the rubbish Ironman mode is... I just accidentally sold the Ring of Wealth when selling the glass, and you can't buy it back. I mean, it's not the biggest deal, we can always craft another one, and I've got an idea for some dragon stones coming up, but... And there it is, it's gone. But then actually during doing this I decided that we may as well actually just go all the way to 75 instead, since it's unlikely that going forward we'd have this much free invent space to do this again, so it makes the most sense to knock out as much crafting as possible right now. I think after that what I'm going to do is get the 78 construction out the way. I think once we have 78, we're never going to need to do any more construction again on this account. With 78, we'll have access to, like I said before, the jewellery box with a stew boost. I think that one is worth stewing for because it's just so important to the account. And obviously we'll have the crafting level to actually make the Dragonstone jewellery to put inside. But we'll also have access to the rejuvenation pool all the way up to the super restore one. It won't restore our health, but the thing is with the very top level pool that also restores HP, you need a unfathomably high herblore level. It's something like 83 or something, maybe even 87 to make anti-venom pots, so we'd also have to fight Zulrah. And also the Portal Nexus 3, I've worked it out, it's not something that we're going to need. I'm just going to make the Portal Nexus 2 and then 2 basic portal rooms, and that'll give us access to 14 different teleports, not including all the ones in our jewellery box, and then that'll be enough for the account. I've sort of worked out the ones I already want. So yeah, if we get 78 construction, I'm going to go back to Mahogany Homes, it'll be about 7 hours of that, then end up on 0 cash. Then we can go back to the Mage Training Arena and do the High Alch room, get our bones to Peaches, and then at that point we'll have all our skill requirements to do all the Entrana quests, and we'll have a nice kind of empty invent. So we'll just ditch our armour at that stage, we'll go do all the Entrana stuff, we'll do Devious Minds, we'll do Legends Quest, we'll do Recipe for Disaster, we'll do the very start of Monkey Madness 2, we'll do Enlightened Journey and all the Balloon Diary tasks. And then after that we'll have a kind of fresh start to rebuild, but we'll have a nice high crafting level to get us some nice armour, like I say. We'll have a fully pimped out house, and we'll have the ability to do Bones to Peaches. So I'm really, really excited for this portion of the account. The only issue is I've got about 22 hours of skilling, not including the extra money making to get the gold. It's probably going to be like a nice solid week here before we get to doing those Entrana quests. And also before that we also need to do Dragon Slayer 1 and Heroes Quest as well. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that's not too much of a ramble. But that's the account plan going forward. It's probably going to be like 30 hours before I get there, but yeah, just really, really excited, honestly. And then also on the way to 75, I then decided to just go all the way to 80 instead, spend just that many more hours doing it, just because having an unboosted level to make glories is just really, really nice. Plus we'd be able to use a mushroom pie instead of a spicy stew, and boost all the way to a full set of black dragonhide whenever we want to make some, instead of relying on like hard clues or something, and then we can make black d-hide and glories on the account. Hey guys, there's 78 crafting coming in, 2 levels left. We can now make crystal bows, crystal halberds and crystal shields. Only about, honestly at the super reclined rate I've been doing this today, about 6 more hours left for these last 2 levels, so that's not really terrible if you think about it, and we'll be at a lovely place when we get to 80, so onwards. It's 79 crafting coming in. 1 more level, 2 and a bit hours, 2 hours 40 or something more of this, for this last 187k, and we can get out of here and play the game. It's been a while. Hey guys, huge level about to come in here. I'm sure you're thinking, oh boy, 80 crafting, but no, it's actually 78 mage. Don't really unlock anything for this. Porkazard, Telly, Tan Leather, which requires a diary, and the Trident of the Swamp, which I guess is cool one day. But the main thing for 78 mage is the fact that we can technically now +5 stew and cast Barrow's Telly, which means we could put it in our house portal if we wanted to mess about with stews. I'm not going to do that because we still need the Mauritania hard diary, and that does require 70 prayer, which we don't yet have. And in the grind to get those kind of skills and the rest of those diary requirements, we may get some more mage levels. If we just get 2 more levels, then obviously we can do the boost just with a beer from the Falador pub, which is far less painful. Hey guys, just ran out of membership during this last level, so I got kicked out to Lumbridge. So I've rebonded from my main, I've come back and it's put my spellbook back to the normal one, so I guess now I've got to find a way back to Lunar Isle or something. Guess I'll Lumbridge Telly and buy the sea boots from the guy and go to Relica. Right guys, here we are, the very last invent of glass. Now this is a fantastic level. The reason I decided to just sod it and go all the way to 80 instead of 75, like I say, we just had the means and the opportunity. We were already here with all the gear, the empty invent, the cash stack, so it made complete sense. So I'll just throw up all the things we've unlocked with this. So we've got ourselves skills necks, combat bracelets, slayer rings. These 2 will go in our jewellery box too that we'll make in a bit. Dragonstone amulet for a glory for us, 1 for the house, again a mounted teleport option. All the dragon hides, we only had like some green pieces before. Now we have full green, full blue, full red, and with a small boost of a pie, full black. A bunch of other random stuff along the way, like all the crystal items, magic bird houses, even power ammies which we need for the Lumbridge diary, just loads and loads of stuff. Super happy to have 80 out the way, just going to go sell the rest of these runes now, clear our invent up, and then the next step is to spend this cash stack so we can go do Mage Training Arena, because you can't go inside with coins, and we can't deposit our coins in like Nightmare Zone or whatever. So I'm going to spend this on construction, because I now want 78 construction, which I think I worked out was like 7 hours or something. Right guys, just prepping our invent here for the construction grind coming up. Like I say, just going to get 3 levels real quick. Going to have to get a pickaxe here from Lovekenge. Got the best one because last time I regretted not doing this. So once we've done a few contracts and we've opened a crate and got some steel bars, then we can get rid of the pickaxe and just unnote those to use for the contracts. In the meantime, we have to make a few steel bars the old-fashioned way. Guys, just running around doing some construction contracts as ever. Currently 1/3 of the way through 76. Going to go for 77 and then 78. And then we should be stopping there for a long time. I'm not going to promise that I'm never going to do construction again, because obviously there are always good construction unlocks until like 90 something. Now I'm hoping there'll be some kind of better method that comes after unlocking Prith. For example, teleporting up there and then chopping the teak trees next to that sawmill. Hopefully that'll become better XP an hour than doing oaks from Ring of the Elements, but I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, in terms of the cash stack, we've lost about 300k doing this so far. We've got about 1 level, because we were halfway through 75 already. I think primarily due to a bunch of long bones and quest rewards and things, so that's good. Did pull some noted steel bars actually. The first 2 construction crates I went and opened were noted steel bars. I can't remember the drop rate, but I think it's like 1 in 6 or something to get those, so it was nice to get back to back straight off the bat. So just doing the normal method here, just teleporting over here with the ring, buying planks, going to Falador because I think it's the closest telly to someone who can offer a contract, and then rinse repeat back to the sawmill. But yeah, that's the grind for now. It's going to be a couple of hours. I think it's about an hour and a half for 77. And then, I don't know, maybe 3 hours or something to 78. So I should be able to do it in 5 hours if I pay attention. As long as we don't run out of cash, which it doesn't look like we should. I think we'll probably have 100 or 200k left at the end. I've not calced it, but just going on kind of gut feeling. And what we'll actually do is just buy a bunch of runes with that money, because we do need loads of natures and fires to do the alch room anyway. Okay guys, we're mid-construction, as you know, and what I'm going to do is just do a really quick diversion, because I've thought of something we can actually just knock out real quick. What I'm going to do here is get a light source, and we're going to go grab a tinderbox, and we're going to sell this pickaxe. I'm just going to knock out 2 diary tasks that are kind of relevant to what we're doing. There's a Mauritania diary task to chop and burn some mahogany logs over on the island just outside of Mostly Harmless. You get there by going through the horror cave. And then once we're there, we're going to chop one and burn one. We've got our axe equipped in our tinderbox here for a Mauritania diary step. Then we're going to ditch the tinderbox and the Kandarin headgear. We're going to get a full inventory of 20 mahogany logs. And then we're going to run over to the sawmill with our teleport and make an inventory of 20 logs at once into mahogany planks. Which is a task for the Varrock diary. So we'll do 2 quick cheeky diary steps, and then at the end we'll have an inventory of mahogany planks, so we can go pick up a mahogany tier contract and get a nice little bit of XP for completing one of those. Hey guys, you catch me just 1 contract shy of 78 construction, where we're going to stop today. We do have still about 500k left, so I did actually consider, just like with crafting, moving the goalposts once again and going all the way for 80 construction, but there's really no point. The only thing we'd get at 80 is the ability to put a fairy ring in our house, and that would only save about 10 seconds just nipping through one of the portals that put us really close to a fairy ring anyway. We won't bother going for the Jewelry Box 3 because all it adds is the Glory teleports, which we'll already have in our house, and it also adds the Ring of Wealth tellies, which are rubbish. It's just a Grand Exchange telly that we get with Varrock Medium anyway. Falador telly, which we can already do, so that's useless. Then there's a teleport to Donderkan's Rock, which is worthless because it's dead content, and then a teleport to Miscellanea, which Ultimate Ironmen can't actually do, if you weren't aware. You can do the Miscellanea quests, but you can't use the Miscellanea, like, interface where you put money in and you get maple logs every week or whatever it is. You just can't use it. No real need to go to Miscellanea outside of like a few clue steps maybe, but there's already a fairy ring on Miscellanea and a spirit tree. So yeah, that's our few days of skilling grinds out the way. 80 crafting and 78 construction. As you can see here, we've got 240 points left, so we can crack a few more crates next time we want to do construction if that ever comes around, get some more noted supplies. We did pull a bunch of soft clay, which in the past was something I was actually actively looking for, but nowadays, because we have such easy access to these dust runes now, we've trained our Slayer up to 65, we don't really save as many spaces by making house tablets, but again, coming up is our game of Trouble Brewing, where we'll need a completely empty invent. We'll be able to keep some items equipped, minus our head slot, because that turns into a pirate hat, but you need to have nothing else. So there's really no point making any, like, telly tabs now to hang on till later, so we've just got rid of it. So I'm just going to use the leftover steel bars here, because everyone loves a bit of smithing XP. So with our construction out of the way and 500k in cash remaining, I decided to spend up a little bit by making some stuff in our house. I thought I could afford both the cape hanger in the achievement gallery as well as a portal to Kirill, to Canifis for the Mauritania diary step. But unfortunately I ran out of money halfway through buying the runes for the portal, and then I also remembered that I actually still need runes for the High Alch room, because you need to buy a lot of natures and fires, so I sort of made a bit of a mistake. I did end up buying the materials for the cape hanger, so we just went and made that with a quick +3 T boost in our house, but yeah, I was left with these 100 bloods and 100 laws, which I couldn't do anything with, because it's actually 200 laws and I ran out of cash. Now obviously you're like, wait, isn't this POH storage? No, like I said in episode 1, I wouldn't be able to take the cape off and reuse it, same as if we mounted a glory in our house. If you destroy it, you get the glory back, but if we ever did that, we'd have to just like drop the glory straight away. We won't be allowed to use it. So I just bought a couple of natures and we headed to Mage Training Arena just to see how far we could get with the natures that we got here. But what you can actually do is take the Lumbridge ring. I alched our rune axe and got a fire staff, by the way. So yeah, we can use this to do 30 alks for free. Now obviously they'll be low alks, so they'll be worth less points, but it's points that aren't going to cost us any money. That's the main thing. So I'll clue you guys in, I guess, if something interesting happens or if we get to the end of this grind here. So see you in a bit. Ugh, didn't really want to ever be back here, but here we are. Need to do about an hour, it looks like. Technically need like It's like 150k. I think we can get 180k an hour doing this. I can't remember what the XP rate was here. I think it was like 45k an hour agility, so actually we'll probably get 73 agility here as well, just because we have done some quests and stuff since hitting 72. It's like a consolation prize for having to come back here. But yeah, I grossly underestimated the number of natures we'd need. I think the Cape Hanger was maybe a mistake at this point in the account. However, it's now built and done, so we'll just do an hour here. Then we'll run up, do the alchemy room. I got rid of our gear as well because I did bring desert robes to do this. I did get rid of our dehides because obviously now we can get full black dehide. We can just make it ourselves. So I just sold that for 11k for the pair, which was what we used to afford these water skins and chalk ices, which was cool. Right guys, this should be our final lap for this little grind here. Just because I went a little bit further and we just went to the 73. Yeah, we got some kind of essence mine shortcut and a troll stronghold shortcut, so that's cool. Okay, that's our runes bought. Just going to real quick make this Carol portal while I remember, and then enter it just for the Mauritania diary. We'll keep this just until we actually come back and redo our house with the stew boost for the jewellery box and stuff. Going to need a lot of money on the account to make our portal nexus 1 and 2. I think combined it's almost 3 mil to get the level 2, which gives you 8 teleports in there, and then you need a few thousand laws and stuff to fill it up. Hey guys, just thought I'd show off a little bit of the Alch room here, just to show you how it works in case you didn't know. So all you do, basically, there's a page of things here. Every time it cycles, which is about once a minute, one of the items is worth 30 coins per Alch. So you always want to be looking for the one that's worth the most coins. These are kind of fake mage training arena coins. But basically you have to run around, and then once you've searched a couple of the cupboards, the plugin works out where the item you're looking for is, and then all you do is you literally sit here and just high alch it. And then like every minute or so, whatever it is, the location of this item will change, but then also another item will become the most valuable item. It's really, really reclined, especially compared to like the graveyard room, which I maintain is the worst. Because we had to make like 4 or 5 trips here with more food to get that room done. Okay guys, getting through this a little bit, I'm at a point where we have to deposit our coins, and if you do that you actually get a burst of stuff. Like double your coins in magic XP, which is crazy because we're already getting good magic XP, 65 per Alch, so you should see that 3 times. So that's 60k free mage XP when you do this room, so it's weird that a place called Mage Training Arena is a good place to train mage, I know. It's just the other rooms are so much worse. They're like 10% the XP an hour as this room. Nothing to see here guys, definitely didn't run out of money again. Right guys, finally after all evening, that should be 300 pizzazz points. We are out. Got 210 coins out of that, so that's absolutely huge for the account. So bones to peaches. Then we've now unlocked that on our account, and we get a collection log pop up, which is cool. And we actually need to go cast it in the Alcarid Palace for the Lumbridge Diary. That's the primary reason people get Bones to Peaches, just for that Lumbridge Diary. Lumbridge Hard's really nice, it gives you unlimited teleports on the ring to Falador Farm, but the Lumbridge Elite, which you need to do the hard for, is the one that lets you use fairy rings with no kind of staff, no Draymond staff or Luna staff. It's one of the best unlocks in the game. Cool, now we just need a bone, so let's beat this guy with our staff till he dies. And then there we go. Bones to Peaches, hard task done. And we get a nice tasty peach that we can just eat. But what we need to do is craft 56 cosmic runes at once, which we'll do after our little Entrana reset when we have an empty inventory, and then we'll just run through the abyss since we'll have no risk. And we'll also do the same for the Falador task to make the mind runes. Finish RFD, which requires us to finish Legends Quest, or at least begin Legends Quest. And then finally make a power army, which we can now do. So we're really quite close. Once we do our Entrana business, we'll probably have Lumbridge Hard. And then Elite, obviously, we need to steal from a rich chest, which is 78 thieving, but you can get a 1 or 2 from a beer, which will save some time here. Thieving's a bit of a pain to train. It's really easy, but obviously we can't get the rogue's outfit on this account, so we're literally making half money when we do train it, which does suck. And then we need 88 smithing, which again will be boostable. That's definitely a stew task, that one. Or you can get the +4 beer from the Giant's Foundry, which is much more obtainable, but it does mean doing another actual level of smithing. So I'll look at that after we've unlocked Prith, because obviously there's tons of cool stuff in Prith. You can get like noted ores from doing Zolcano, and there's a really nice forge next to an anvil next to a bank there as well. And also there's things like a different plate body shop in Prith that sells Addy plates and more myth plates. So we'll wait till we've done Song of the Elves to look at elites, really. And then 76 Runecraft I would get. It's kind of inefficient to train Runecraft and not be able to make deaths, because deaths are so good. But again, we can't do Morning's End 2 till after Roving Elves, and I don't want to do Roving Elves until we've started Monkey Madness 2, because I think we'll want the crystal bow you get for free from Roving Elves to fight Gloth's last phase in Monkey Madness 2. And then do the quest cape emote in the Wise Old Man's house. So there's no point trying for any of these anyway without the quest cape. But anyway, yeah, that's the diary. So we'll definitely get hard relatively soon. Okay guys, with Mage Training Arena out the way, what I'm going to do is just go do Dragon Slayer 1 finally. It's our final free-to-play quest that we never did because we didn't want to unlock any dragon tasks while going for 75 Slayer. So I don't really know what gear to take here. But we've got 9k coins on the account and no weapon. I've got all the items together anyway to just do the quest, so I don't remember how hard the boss is, to be honest. It's been so long since I did it. So to begin Dragon Slayer, we talk to Oziak, who's a merchant up in Edgeville, and we ask him if he'll sell us a rune plate body, which is obviously the most epic and cool plate body available to a free-to-player like me. But he doesn't really want to sell us one, and so as a kind of joke to get rid of us, he says he'll sell you one if you defeat the Green Dragon Elvarg on Crandor Island. I don't think he expects us to be able to do it, but we pull it out the bag and we go kill Elvarg, and then we return to him, and he's like, oh, well, I guess I'll open a shop now that sells rune plates. What we need to do is grab 3 pieces of a map, I believe, and that's the map to the island of Crandor. I guess they never just opened their world map and just looked for it, because it's kind of easy to find. If you just go down to where Karamja is and just look up, it's right here. So we go inside and we search this chest for our first piece of the map. And there we go, there's piece number 1. Now what we can do is head over to Port Sarim. Okay, so now we can actually enter the jail. We've got ourselves all the items to cast some combat spells. So let's just fire strike this guy to death. There we go, that's 2 of the, I think, 3 pieces of the map. And now it's time to do the Melzar's Maze portion. So that's Melzar dead. All we need to do now is kill his pet demon, and what you can do is just safe spot him on any of these corners. You attempt to look smart on a video and you mess it up. There we go. Oh, what? Guys, I'm not good at this game, I've told you this, okay? If it's not clear yet, like 15 episodes in or whatever one this clip's gonna go into, I'm not good at the game. I died to Corsair Cove twice. So at this point we have a completed map to Crandor, so we head back to Lumbridge to speak to the Duke about some anti-dragon protection. It might be once you get to this point of the quest you can start getting dragon tasks, or maybe it's the very end of the quest. But either way, if you don't want to get dragon tasks on an account, I would highly recommend it on Ironmen where you're trying to do Slayer first. Just don't do Dragon Slayer 1, just wait. Okay, here we are finally in Port Sarim, because we're a slow walker. We talk to Clarence and we buy his wrecked ship. We also bring a hammer, nails and some planks. Obviously we stole these planks from Port Khazard because they were free. Then once it's seaworthy we can actually attempt to sail over to Crandor. And then we just need to go back to Ned in Draenor. He is a retired ship captain, so we can talk to him and we can ask him if he will become the captain of our ship. Okay guys, here we are with the greatest setup you've ever seen for a quest boss. We've got ourselves Fire Strike, we've got some potatoes, we've got monk's robes, no boots. Once we're there, we'll open the door to be able to re-access Crandor Island from the Karamja side. There's like 2 Dragon Slayer 1 based tasks in the Karamja medium diary that we need to do. We open this, that should be a task, so it's now open for all future trips. Okay, so she does hit, but not a lot, and she's got 80 HP, so nothing to worry about. There we go, that's Elvarg down. We have become the titular Dragon Slayer. So let's just pull this head off with our bare hands, because apparently dragons are brittle and made of paper mache or something. And this guy's like, oh, I had no idea you're actually going to do it. Let me open my rune plate body shop for you. That's it. 2 quest points, which is nice. About 20k in strength and defense, and rune dragon plate bodies and green d'hide tops. We can pay 10k for a green d'hide top, or 85k for a rune plate. That's literally twice the value. So with Dragon Slayer down, we have unlocked the Heroes quest, which is the next thing we actually need to do on the account. And then following that, we can begin the Legends quest, get access to Karazi Jungle, and then we can complete RFD. Hey guys, just grabbing stuff together for Heroes Quest here. We need a Harrowlander. I was just going to say I just got these 60 Herblocks. We were like 50 XP off for the longest time. But that does mean we're only 3 levels off Super Restores, which is kind of the main thing. Obviously we need 70 for Questcape to get Song of the Elves done, but we want 72 to do unboosted ranging pots for future endeavours. Okay guys, here we are with all our things. We've got our fishing rod and bait, we've got our Harrowlander pot, and we're in Berthorpe at the Heroes Guild ready to start Heroes Quest. Now, this quest sounds difficult because it's called Heroes Quest, but it's honestly super easy. You go around the map and get 3 items. So you grab the ice gloves and then you go to Entrana with them. Pickpocket a feather from a phoenix, that's one of the items already. Item number 2, you talk to a few people to learn how to make an oily fishing rod, and you just go inside Taverley Dungeon and just fish an eel. And item number 3 is a jeweled candlestick that requires another player. So what we need to do is talk to the fisherman in the Ports Rim fishing shop, because he's the one who knows how to catch these special eels that we need the oily fishing rod in order to catch. Shouldn't take too long because obviously our fishing's high as well, 77 on the account. I genuinely barely remember doing fishing on this account, like, we did it so early. We got like 76 before we really started playing, like... I mean, the best thing to do on a UIM with fishing is do minnows, but you need the full angler set to be allowed to catch them. If we have an issue with a really tough quest boss, we'll just, like, farm grubby keys or something for sharks. Oh, apparently you can't fail the lava eel according to Quest Helper, So I fished and cooked a lava eel as one of the items for Heroes Quest, then I headed over to Varrock, talked to our gang leader, and then was sent over to Brimhaven to steal a candlestick with the assistance of myself, as my other accounts in the other gang. You just sort of go around the back and snipe the guard on your other account, and then you're able to take his key with your account and go into the back room where the treasure is, just yoink his candlestick. Finally, the last thing to do was to go to Entrana. Now, obviously, we're not doing our big Entrana reset right now, but we are just going to nip to Entrana real quick. So we can actually get away with just dropping our combat items at the dock here for a few seconds, because we just need to run onto the island and kick a phoenix to death, and then quickly run back. So that's Heroes Quest complete. Really, really easy. You get 29k XP spread over 12 skills, which means you effectively get nothing. But we can go inside, there's some cool stuff in here. Downstairs, there's a fountain that recharges our glory, which is useful later when we get one. There's a blue dragon we can kill and safe spot its hides and bones, and there's some rocks, some coal and addy and rune, maybe some myth. There is a shop which is potentially useful. He sells the Dragon Battle Axe and the Dragon Mace for 200k and 50k respectively. Now the Dragon Mace isn't a horrendous weapon. If we have 50k and we can't get back to Apatol, for example, for a quick de-skim, then this might be a good alternative just to start us off to have a weapon for 50k. Right guys, next up randomly, I'm just going to do the Throne of Miscellanea quest, just because I can, I guess. There's no combat in it and you just need like 4 items to complete the quest. Now again, normally this would unlock managing miscellanea, but UIMs can't interact with that at all. There's not even an option to like claim them to your invent instead of a bank, you just can't use it. So I'm just going to bang the quest out, it's really, really easy. We basically just woo the princess, help the king, and then at the end we get literally like nothing, I think. But I guess we get access to, like I say, Royal Trouble and probably Fremnik Exiles, so we do need to do this. So in this quest, you just walk back and forward between 2 castles about 4 times, and then you do a bunch of emotes to this prince, so he falls in love with you. Pretty sad that about 15 minutes of raking this dude's herb patch only gives us 1 quest point and nothing else, but it doesn't matter. I just went on to continue and do the Royal Trouble quest straight afterwards. This quest starts out more of the same, we have to run in between the 2 kingdoms and talk to the 2 leaders, but then eventually you head off into the depths below Miscellanea to find some lost kids. On the way, I grabbed some sweet e-girlfriend Fashionscape, repaired a coal-powered engine, and had to mine 5 coal with a bronze pick, which was a little bit painful. Also didn't bring an anti-poison or any more combat supplies, as I didn't expect to actually come do this quest, but I just decided to Leroy it using the fire strikes we had left over for Elvarg. Just had to pray missiles on the end boss, and it was completely AFK. Also, I was raking the herb patch for extra approval each time I ran between the islands, so we eventually went to 100% favour just for the hard Fremy diary task. For this one at least we got 20k coins and a little bit of XP, so it's not too bad, but again we don't get the extra reward of the Workers for the Kingdom minigame because we can't play that. Just a random little clip here in between some other ones. I randomly stopped to pick some berries while at the monastery just for some farming XP. I actually managed to pick 25 berries from this bush before it depleted, which is crazy. I don't think I've ever seen a yield that high before. Another random thing here, I decided to do the Taibo One-Eye cleanup minigame finally, just grab some addy tools and a sword. I'm just looking for the 100% favour here for the diary task, and then we can also have 60% left later to spend to do the My Arms Big Adventure quest or whatever it's called, where you come here with the troll guy. You need some favour built up to have that quest actually added to your quest list, so just wanted to do those 2 things at the same time. I'm also looking for a ton of different diary steps here, including entering the hardwood grove, chopping some trees, making a spider on a stick, digging up the gout tuber for the machete, things like that. Just doing these because we should actually be able to go for Karam Jahad relatively soon once we've done our reset and we fully complete Legends quest, so I might as well just knock out some of these smaller tasks while I'm in the area. So I tried the normal method of cutting back the jungle and trading in our favour for some trading sticks, just to progress in the minigame, but eventually I just moved on to the spiders near the farming patch, as this is the quickest way to get 100% favour, and it's a lot less work than fighting Broodoo victims, for example. However, I did save up 5k trading trading sticks to open the permanent access to the Metal Dragon dungeon at the very end of the Brimhaven dungeon here. There's a rope you can get down by paying some trading sticks to this guy. I got this from extremely inefficient gem rocks in Shiloh Village, just cutting them and then selling them to Gabuti's co-op. So now we've unlocked dragon tasks by doing Dragon Slayer 1. Anytime we get a dragon task in Brimhaven dungeon, we can get there quicker by going down this hole instead of paying and going through the front door. Still missing the gout tuber for this diary. I'm not going to sit here for hours looking for it tonight. Just to round out this evening, I ended up with 77 woodcutting here. As well as that, I just finished off the random extra bit of XP we had left for 70 fletching, which actually means we can now make yew longbows, which is some decent money. 10 more levels till we can fletch magic shortbows from scratch, which will be nice. We'll probably end up getting that one day, because like I say, I do enjoy a bit of fletching. Morning guys, time for some more questing real quick. We're doing Family Crest today. We've talked about potentially getting the Goldsmith gauntlets before, but I decided not to do that because Giant's Foundry was so good, so we didn't end up doing this quest. And it turns out you actually have to do this to do Legends quest, so we're going to scoot over to the quest start and begin. So basically for this quest we have to go around and find this guy's 3 sons, and each one has 1/3 of their family crest. You basically help each guy, they give you their third of the crest and you put them all together. I initially wanted to attempt the Wilderness brother first, because there's one where you have to venture into the wildy and kill a greater demon with some magic, but it turns out you actually can't, you have to do them in the order the quest tells you to. So task 1, we need to fish and cook some fish for this brother. Task 2, we need to make 2 pieces of ruby jewellery with some special gold ore inside the Witch Haven dungeon where we very originally did our Hellhounds and got our first smouldering stone. There's some special gold ore in there called Perfect Gold. So we need to make a ring and a necklace for that guy. And then the third guy is the one where we need to nip into the wilderness and kill a demon, which is really annoying. You need to hit him with a damaging spell from each of the 4 elemental death spells, then you can finish him off with whatever you like, and you get poisoned and it's in the wilderness. So that one's a little bit spooky, but we managed to do it. That's it, 1 quest point and some steel gauntlets that we're not going to use. But look at all these requirements for this one. We're finally ready to take on the Legends quest. I'm going to go run about, grab some items together. I'll see you guys at the quest start for this one. Right, here we are guys at the very start of the Legends quest. This is the Legends Guild, right next to the fairy ring here north of Ardy. So what we need to do is go speak to Radamus in the kind of entranceway, and he needs to give us a quest to become a legend. Now this one's a lot longer and a lot harder than Hero's Quest, which is laughably easy. Basically what we need to do is, this guy entrusts us to go to Karamja and map out the currently unexplored Radamus jungle area. And then we need to get a bunch of items together just to create the map down there, which is the only step of Legends Quest we're actually going to do today. We will have to stop at Tybro One-Eye Village on the way. I'm going to work on the Karamja diary once we're in there, because there's a bunch of diary tasks for the hard Karamja diary that require you to have at least started Legends Quest. So we're just going to buy the bare minimum stuff here from this shop. It does sell the papyrus, the charcoal and the machete. The reason we're going to do the full map portion instead of just walking in and walking out is just because we can while we're here. It saves us doing it later when it does come to Legends Quest. Now I've had these tiles marked here for a few years actually, across a bunch of accounts. I found this to be a decent spot to chop your way into the jungle. It literally just requires 2 quick chops. So that's a good spot to come through if you ever want to mark that. So we will work on the quest, but also we're going to work on a couple of quick diary steps while we're here. I need to kill an Oomli bird because we need an Oomli wrap. I know that item has been a meme recently in the old school community because there's a burnt version which is some kind of weird rare item or something. But we're just here to cook and eat one. It would be nice to take more than one away with us. So what we'll actually do is just do the mapping step first. And then that'll get rid of some of our charcoals and papyruses, no doubt. Then what we're going to do while we're here is pick up 5 palm leaves. You can do the same as you did with the seaweed step for the Karamja Easy, where you just pick up the same palm leaf and drop it repeatedly. But we do want another one to wrap around our Oomli bird, and then we can take it and go cook it. I don't think there's any fires naturally occurring in here, which is a bit of a shame. I just want to get as many Karamja diary tasks done as we're near them as possible, because there are just so many. Like I mentioned before, like the hard diary has, what is it, like 19 tasks or something? Which is kind of wild. We just need to run over to this far end here of the jungle. You need to map all 3 corners, the middle, the left and the right. And then we can turn that into the forester, and that's as far as we'll be getting with Legends Quest today. Didn't know there were mahogany trees this far down, that's kind of cool. But we've already done the step to chop some mahoganies and teaks, because we did it inside the hardwood grove last night, during the Tybro One-Eye cleanup minigame. So that is our notes complete. I don't think we need any more charcoal now or papyrus, so we can drop those. We can grab ourselves some Oomli birds. And then also we need to grab a bunch of palm leaves, a couple to cook our Oomli wraps, and a couple just for the diary. Like I say, we need 5. So what we can do is shake this palm tree here. It should drop a palm leaf, and then we can just pick that up and drop it a bunch of times. I don't think we can mess up the vanilla thing for the RFD quest, but we'll grab 2 just in case. So here we go, we speak to one of the jungle foresters and we tell them that we've mapped the Karazi jungle. If we turn this in, he gives us a bull roarer, which is an item we need later on. It seems we need the notes with us for the entire quest, so I'm just going to drop them and we'll get them back when we come back. So we can ditch our logs, we can ditch our machete, we can ditch our charcoal. We're done here. We've done the diary task we need to do here. There we go. Just eat one, and that's a hard task in the Karamja diary. The only medium thing we have left to do is exchange gems for a machete, which requires us to find a gout tuber in the Taibo One Eye cleanup minigame. Didn't find one last night, but we'll certainly go back and find a gout tuber later, because that's the only thing left for medium. We've done everything else. Then for hard, there's a couple of things we have to do. We have to get halfway through the fight caves, which is super easy. We'll be able to do that once we get our rune crossbow back or whatever. Become the champion of the fight pits. I just have to fight myself and lose once. And then we need to kill a Deathwing in the jungle. That happens during Legends quest, so we can't do that yet anyway. And then we need 100 combat to get ourselves a Slayer task from Shiloh Village. And we need to kill a dragon, which we can now do, because we do have the anti-dragon shield. So just a couple of easy things left, honestly, to do the hard diary. The Elite diary is probably never going to happen, because we need 91 runecraft. But 87 herb lore, I don't know. That's 82 plus 5. So Karamja Elite, maybe not. So, anyway, that's our Legends Quest intro done. So in theory, we should be able to inspect ceramic vase and begin this now. Now we know what we're doing, we'll go next door and speak to the cook, and he'll tell us that we need to make a special creme brulee, a delicious item comprised of a bunch of different things, one of which is the vanilla pod from in the jungle. We've already grabbed those, so we don't need to go back there, which is really nice. But one of the other things we need is some cinnamon from Entrana. And to get there, obviously, we need to ditch all our combat items, so we'll be losing our Slayer Helm today, we'll be losing all of this other junk that has combat stats, and we'll be losing our Defender. So what we need to do is talk to the wise old man to learn about the evil chicken, and he tells us we can get to the evil chicken through... We need to get to Xanaris, which means we actually need a Draymond Staff. So what we'll do is we'll do our big reset now. We'll go to Betty's shop here and we'll see if we can purchase any mind runes, because you're allowed to take runes onto Entrana and we'll use those. We may not actually need to kill the tree spirit again. We will need to kill some undead lumberjacks though to actually chop the Draman tree. So we're able to keep our runes, our coins. We'll be able to keep our ice gloves because they don't have combat stats, which is really good because we actually need those for the quest. Right, okay, so to progress with the RFD ceramic vase, we need to get a bunch of items, one of which is a dragon token we get by going to the evil chicken's lair in Xanaris with a raw chicken. That's a nice place we can go in future to kill black dragons quite easily to get our black d'hide armor. But we also need to head to Entrana as well to get another Draman branch, which we actually grind down, I think with either a knife or a pestle and mortar to turn into like cinnamon. Turns out there's cinnamon inside those things, but we'll grab a couple of spares because we'll need one for ourselves now to turn into a Draman staff so we can use it to actually get to Xanaris. And then we'll get another one that we won't fletch yet, so we can carry it on Entrana later. And then have one afterwards that we can refletch into a Draman staff when we're done with our Entrana shenanigans. So everything here that's combat related we'll get rid of. Most things probably aren't going to be sellable, we'll just have to drop them. The Avas we always drop anyway. But this is it guys, we're going to get rid of our Dragon Defender here. Because you can't actually alch it. It says it has a 40k alch value, but you can't alch it or sell it anywhere. And we're going to have to get rid of our Slayer Helm, which is a real shame. I guess technically we could disassemble it, right, and sell the individual components for some coins. But yeah, that's our imbued black mask on the ground. Can't bring that with us to Entrana. And then you also obviously can't bring a sword, a pickaxe, or an axe. So we should be Entrana friendly now. Even though the Xerix, actually, they did give it 3 mage bonus, so technically it's a mage amulet. I think we're allowed on Entrana with that. I'm actually really glad we kept the ice gloves for so long. We got them before we did the 80 crafting grind, and we've had them the whole time. We need the ice gloves so we can hold the special creme brulee that we make during this RFD quest, and then we go talk to like a baby dragon and he breathes fire on us. It like cooks the creme brulee, but you need ice gloves on for that one. So what we'll do while here is we'll pick up the worst quest in the game, the one that's causing us the most trouble, Enlightened Journey. But we'll come back to him later. All I want to do is just grab the quest and make sure if there's anything we need to do that it's in progress. I know for this quest you need to actually grow a willow tree. I have 2 in the ground, So I believe we should be okay. We won't have to wait like the 6 hours for a tree to grow to do this. We should be able to just run to the willow trees that we already have grown and clip them with some secateurs for some branches to make the basket for his balloon. But anyway, yeah, we'll just ignore that for now. That's not the one that we're going to do first. So let's talk to Cave Monk, go inside his cave. Right guys, we're once again under Entrana, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to farm these guys till we get a bronze axe so we can cut the Draymond tree, and then with the Draymond tree and a bronze axe we'll cut maybe 3 or 4 Draymond branches, which should sort of set us up going forward. I need 1 for this quest to crush into cinnamon, I need 1 now to turn into a Draymond staff, but then we'll have to lose that Draymond staff again when we come back to doing Light and Journey, Devious Mines and other mischief on Entrana. But if we keep another branch unfletched, we'll be able to carry that with us onto Entrana because it isn't a weapon yet. So that's why we'll get a couple of spares, just so we don't have to come back and do this part again later. So there we go, a nice 3kc bronze axe. Yeah, there we go, lovely. So next thing, we have our cinnamon, and we have some spare Draymond branches for later. I'm hoping we have enough coins for the Ardy cloak. I think we do. Yeah, it's only 200, that's really good. So we can get this back, go get our prayer back, and we can head over to the fairy ring, head to Xanaris. Yeah, we need to kill both the evil chicken and the black dragon. Right guys, got ourselves a raw chicken and a Draman staff, and some dragon fire protection, and a staff of fire to cast some fire strikes. I don't remember how strong the evil chicken is, he has a combat level 159 apparently, but black dragons can be safe spotted, so... So here's the chicken altar, we just use the raw chicken on this statue. When we get inside the evil chicken's lair. So here's the evil chicken that we need to kill. It seems like this guy is kind of strong. He's maging us, so he obviously must have a high mage level, which means his mage defense will be quite high. But I guess is hitting him with the Draman staff going to be worse? Let's try it. Now again, obviously guys, these quests at the minute aren't going to be efficient, because any gear that we get we're going to have to immediately get rid of straight after this quest, because we're going to do 3 more quests on Entrana. So I can't really invest in anything super good. So this guy's taking several minutes to kill, but he does have some defense and he has 120 health. And you're probably not intended to kill him by beating him to death with a Draymond staff, so... It is nice that we have 65 prayer though, because we've not actually had to restore our prayer yet, even with no prayer gear equipped. Apart from the Ardy capes too, we've still managed to kill this guy without needing to pot up, so that's really nice. So with the evil chicken dead, what we do is we take his egg, which is one of the things we need. And then the next thing we need to do is kill a black dragon. Should be slightly easier to kill a black dragon, I think, than the chicken. I'm not sure what their magic level is. If this doesn't work, we'll have to go make another U short bow and come back with arrows. You can use a bow on these once you're in the safe spot, obviously, because you don't need the dragon fire protection. You just can't do that kind of cheesing with brutal dragons or metal dragons, because they have the ranged attack as well. But regular chromatic dragons, as long as you're 1 square away, there's nothing they can do to you. Hey guys, it's been like 5 minutes, but we're nearly there. It's got 30 health more, so that's cool. I've just thought we do need to get some corn flour as well to make this creme brulee, which means we actually need to go grow some sweet corn somewhere, which kind of sucks. We can just grow it in Karend where it can't possibly die. We only need a single sweet corn, so we don't even need to ultra compost it for more yield or anything. Apparently they're also 1 in 33 from seed stalls. However, I imagine stalls cool down a lot longer than a single pickpocket does, and it's the same rate from master farmers, so there we go. That's our black dragon killed. That took 5 or 6 minutes, honestly. So we can grab some stuff. Got ourselves a combat diary. So what we need to do now is grab ourselves some milk, some cream, and then we need some corn flour, as well as our pestle and mortar to crush our Draman branch. So we'll go grab all those things, and then I'll head over to Draenor or somewhere with master farmers. We'll steal some master farmers until we get 3 sweet corn seeds. We'll go plant those in Karend where they can't possibly die, and then once they're grown we'll grab a sweet corn and put it in the mill, turn that into corn flour for the rest of this quest. Alright guys, that's sweet corn in the ground in Karend, so it'll definitely live. According to timers it's going to take almost an hour, so... Tell you what I'll do, while we're waiting for this to grow, I'll just go kill Chaos Druids for a bit, because you can take prayer pots onto Entrana and various other places, and I'm sure we'll find a use for prayer pots today while doing this. It's just to kill some time. Delicious peaches coming in clutch once again. Hey guys, we're somewhere else. Still got about 15 minutes for that sweet corn to grow for Recipe for Disaster for our corn flour. So what I'm just doing is running around doing a couple of random diary tasks, specifically the Varrock ones. What I've done is I've had the apothecary make us a strength pot with just some red spider eggs and a limpwort that I grabbed And then we've also done some hard tasks. I went and did some hunter, caught 2 dashing kebits and made this spot ear cape, as you can see in the chat here, for a hard task as well. And what I'm just going to do now is swap our spellbook to Ancient so we can cast this Padawar teleport, which is another hard Varrock task. Teleports us over to the Edgeville dungeon. So now we've actually done all the hard tasks for Varrock. But what we are actually missing is one of the medium tasks, which is really a strange place to be. But we're just missing use the balloon to Varrock, which we'll do later once we do Enlightened Journey on Entrana. So as soon as we've done that, we can go turn in both the medium and hard Varrock diary at the same time. We can get ourselves 22.5k in Herblore XP, which is almost a full level, which is really, really good. We can also redirect the Varrock Telly to the Grand Exchange directly, which is really nice. We can't obviously use the Grand Exchange as an Ironman, but we can get to the Decanter NPC really easily, which is good. And then we can also use the Varrock Plate Body 3 in place of the Chef's Hat to enter the Cooking Guild, so we won't have to go to Shazian anymore to buy that Chef's Hat or kill any goblins. If we do need to get into the Cooking Guild and buy any of those pies that boost our skills, which we might do in future. Plus obviously there's all the bonuses from the Varrock Plate Body itself. I am kind of thinking about going for 72 mining relatively soon. Don't really know if it affects Motherlode Mine, but I mean, we're not going to have the Prospector anyway, so at least at the beginning we'll wear that to Motherlode, so that'll be cool. I'm just going to go swap our spellbook here back, and then we'll have a little bit over 10 minutes to wait for the sweet corn and we can go finish our FD. There we go, guys. Long time later we have some sweet corn ready, so we'll just grab one. I don't think many people ever use this mill, to be honest, but there's a mill here if you ever need one. And there we go, there's our cornflour. So now we should be able to mix the full creme brulee mixture together. So there's the cream, the cornflour, here's the vanilla pod from the Krasy Jungle, here's the evil chicken's egg, and finally here's the cinnamon from grinding a Draymond branch. So now what we should be able to do is head over to Lumbridge. If we rub this dragon token that we got for killing a black dragon, it should summon a baby dragon and he grants us 1 wish. And for whatever reason we use that wish to cook this creme brulee instead of something useful like world peace or ultimate power or whatever. And this should be the last thing for this quest actually. And then we'll already be in Lumbridge to turn it into ceramic vase. And there we go, 4,000 cooking, 4,000 hit points, really just nothing. But that's everything in RFD. Everyone's saved. Now there's literally just the finale boss fight. Now like I say, I'm not going to do that now, especially since we don't actually need the Barrow's Gloves right this minute. At any point we can come here and complete the final boss fight for this, which we do have to do for the Lumbridge Hard Diary. We do need to equip some Barrow's Gloves for that one. But obviously we're going to do our Entrana questing first. It's customary though to just go check on the chest. So the rune were 6,500, the Dragon Gloves are 130k. Which is kind of ridiculous because I'm fairly sure that's around the price of the Barrow's Gloves. I think what I want to do now I have some prayer potions on the account is actually do Devious Minds. Because this quest requires us to go into the Abyss and kill a bunch of Abyssals until we get the large pouch, which is the rune crafting pouch thing. Not going to be using it for rune essence or anything that progresses the account, but we basically need to use the large rune crafting pouch on this quest to smuggle an orb onto Entrana for a bad guy. So time for Devious Minds. This is a strange quest actually. We basically have to help a monk, or who we think is a monk, smuggle a special kind of weapon over onto Entrana. Obviously he's having the same issues we are, where he can't take combat items onto Entrana, so we have to help him. But we later find out he's not a monk, he's in fact an evil assassin, and he kills some of the monks on Entrana because we help him smuggle a weapon on there. Which is kind of an oopsie on our part, but you know. A couple of years ago, this was, they did a stats thing, and this was the least completed quest in the game. I think when you mention Devious Minds to people, they don't know what it is. It has some very weirdly high requirements. You need 65 smithing, because you have to interact with a Mithril 2H. You need 50 runecraft, which used to be hard before Guardians of the Rift, so people didn't even get 50. You also need 50 fletching, and then you also have to have completed Wanted and Troll Stronghold and Doric's quest, and Enter the Abyss, which people didn't do because they didn't do runecraft. It's not part of any quest chain because there's no follow-up to this in this game. There is in RS3. So yeah, it's just kind of this strange dead-end quest. So we talk to this monk outside Patadomus, and he's like, yo, can you help me? So we say, sure, we love to help monks. Monks are good people. So what we do is we make a special weapon called a bow sword, which sadly isn't usable by the player in-game, because it does sound really cool. It's basically a two-handed sword that we go to Doric's anvil and we sharpen, and then we attach a bowstring to it. So with the bow sword in hand, we return to the quote-unquote monk and exchange it for his teleport orb, and then it's off to the abyss to kill some abyssal leeches, to get some of the runecrafting pouches as drops. Just went and grabbed some monk's robes first, just so we could extend our prayer pot use inside while fighting them. We've got ourselves a superset or a regular set, and we're just going to kill abyssal leeches in here. So yeah, the pouches themselves though are 1 in 42, and we need to get 3 of them. There's the small, medium, large and giant. We don't need the giant, we need the small, medium and large. Obviously the runecrafting pouches are an inventory enhancing container. We're not going to be using them for runecraft. We're just going to be getting the small and medium because we have to be eligible to get the large. And then once we have the large, we're just going to use it for this quest, and then we'll just ditch the other pouches. Hey, there we go guys. Nice large pouch on the ground. That was actually really decent. It only took 24 minutes or something to get all 3 pouches. So I'm just going to use the orb on the large one, which will turn it into the special quest pouch, and then we should be able to just drop the smaller ones. What's interesting on that grind, we did actually get every single drop from the small abyssals there, apart from the clue scroll, because that's 1 in 256, and we only ended up killing 140, so we only went slightly dry on the pouch. And we need to actually head into the wilderness now, which is kind of spooky. Don't think there should be anyone here, because why would there be? I think when we go in here we'll be on no prayer, just like the other abyss. So we've still got a prayer dose, which is going to give us enough to pray. So what we're going to do is head over to the lore altar here. I don't think the Entrana plugin will work here, so we need to get rid of our combat items. Now there's no way that monk's robes are combat items. I know that the Ardy cloak counts, the Drayman staff counts, the axe counts. That should be everything, I think. Yep, here we are on Entrana. Actually should have just brought some essence to make some lores, because we did get a lot of essence as drops in the abyss. I could have just brought some along. But anyway, here we are on Entrana. We've smuggled the monk's evil orb. We think we're just helping a monk out, but it turns out the orb is some kind of teleport mechanic that the evil assassin uses. He gets here with the mithril bow sword and just kills everyone, and it's entirely the player character's fault, which is funny. So he comes here, kills a bunch of people, steals a holy relic. And then we need to talk to Sir Tiffy in Falador Park, who sells us our proselyte armour. It's important for the White Knights to know about this assassin, apparently. And then after we've informed him, it'll be quest complete, and there's no follow-up. But we do get 1 quest point and a bunch of XP, really not bad. It's not going to be a level in anything, but it's certainly a decent amount, especially in the runecraft. Another quest down. As you can see, only 41 quest points left, so really, really getting up there. And speaking of getting up there, I'm going to get up out of here because it's the end of the episode. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate it. Just a quick recap of what we did in this one. Just knocked out a couple of skills, really. Got rid of a lot of our combat items, as you may remember, just to get more invent space to do our 80 crafting, all the way from 63. I think that took about 5 days. It was something like 24 hours of game time. And then to use up our cash, I went and finished 3 more levels of construction from 75 to 78. That's probably where we're going to stop. Just to get the jewellery box 2 going forward, because obviously now, with the crafting, we can make all the Dragonstone jewellery to put in there, and obviously we can grab a glory to mount on our wall, so we don't need the 3rd jewellery box, so that's really, really good. Finished off our bones to Peaches with no cash left on us to do the enchanting room, which is really good, and then just did a bunch of miscellaneous quests, did some Tybro one-eye cleanup, a few diaries. What we're going to do going forward is just finish off the rest of the Entrana stuff and the other random tasks that require us to have an empty invent. So we're going to do our Trouble Brewing game, we're going to do those Abyss Runecraft tasks. So we've got like Enlightened Journey left, we've got all the balloon routes left to do, we're going to do the very start of Monkey Madness too, things like that. Then we'll get back into things, actually do a rebuild and go after some of those Grandmaster quest bosses. So really, really excited. Thank you guys for tuning in so far. Having a ball with these. So I'll see you in the next one, hopefully. Take care.